All right, fill me in on the week.
Week was good.
Yeah.
He's very responsive to his exercises. Like
Okay.
went on a longer walk. Kind of involved some crossing of some busier streets and people and stuff, and he didn't really react to any of them.
Okay.
Maybe like a few times I had to press the button.
Okay.
And then yesterday we went on just like a regular potty walk, and like he didn't even have a collar on. He was still like at my heel.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
Pretty
It's don't expect it to be like that forever.
yeah.
He'll, because that's why I tell people it's like a cop on the collar is going to behave better when it's on. But if it's a quick potty break, it's whatever. So with the human reactivity, how has that been this is your third class, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this week was good.
Yeah. This week was good. I took him on a long walk yesterday. The only time he really responded towards another dog is when another dog like lurched after him and started like running after him. And that's when I honestly didn't even see them coming.
Sure.
I was going this way and then they were coming this way. And so he of course like lurched and like, was barking at them. So I had to turn up the dial then. We found that the sweet spot when everything is like calm is about like 20, 22 that he's pretty responsive towards, but with that I had to turn it up.
Yeah.
And we had to turn the corner.
Okay.
But with Gladys, he was really great. I had him sit in front of Gladys as her neck was hanging out of
Oh yeah,
the
that's right.
fence.
The dog behind the fence. Yeah.
And he did really well with that, so I made him sit. He didn't like cry or whine or try to pull forward, and then I told him break that he could go see Gladys, and he would go see her. So.
Good.
So yeah.
Good. Excellent. He looked, at least from when he was coming in here, he was obviously still unsure, but it looks like he's getting the confidence of just coming in without, on his own, as opposed to like being pulled or kind of coaxed in. Is that correct?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot less resistance getting him in here today.
Yeah, he still has like areas sometimes when we're on a walk where he's like, I'm not sure. I don't know what it is, but he's just like not sure of the space, and he kind of goes
Textures or
like out.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
and then we'll come back to my side.
Okay.
But yeah.
When you see that, what I would do is take note. So dogs are super sensitive to things.
Yeah.
And it could be something like, just as an example, let's say I have like Lakeshore Drive right here, and the dog is fanning out right here, and then once I pass Lakeshore Drive, the dog comes in. It's the busyness or the bustle of Lakeshore Drive that's pushing the dog off.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes it can even be a gust of wind. Like I had that happen once with a dog. I was working with a client outside, and a very strong gust of wind came where like the leaves blew up. And the dog was mid-recall, and when that happened, the dog ran off. But we had the dog on a long leash, so it didn't get away. But then the owner was like, because the dog was doing so well. So the owner was like, why the heck did that happen? I'm like, is your dog scared of wind? He's like, yeah. I'm like, did you not notice the gust of wind that came through? Because my brain, when I see the dog respond, will like literally take a snapshot of what's going on so I can pick up on what it was. So right there, I was like, the gust of wind happened right when your dog took off. So when you're walking with Siegfried, you want to become sensitive to these things because it helps you learn more about him, but also puts you a step ahead. Because if you're like, oh, like this is what actually got him to fan out, the next time I come across that situation, I can already plan ahead. Does that make sense? Yeah. The other thing would be to help build his confidence with new textures or new places, bringing him into a Home Depot, bringing him into a PetSmart or a Petco, right? Because it's going to be similar to this.
He's terrified of PetSmart.
Yeah. So I expect him to like crab walk or something, and then ignore him. Don't coo at him. Just like walk through the aisles real quick. So like, let's say you have a walk and there's like a PetSmart on the way. I go potty him prior to PetSmart just in case. Go inside, walk through, walk out, continue your walk. And you make it a part of like your kind of routine. Because the more you expose him, the faster he's going to get over it, right? So then here, because for me personally, whenever I see a dog have like a weakness or an issue with something, right off the bat, I want to start pressing it so that I can start making progress on it. Because because if it's only like we expose him once a week to a place like this, he will get there, but it's going to take much longer. Yeah. Okay. But otherwise, I mean, he's looking good. Okay. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
He did really well with his turning exercises.
Yeah, the turning exercise did really well.
Good, excellent. So we'll do a quick review just to make sure we're remembering those turns correctly, and then we're gonna start the recall, okay? All right. Whenever you're ready. Heel. Yep, tap, good. Tap, 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 tap. There you go, good. Tap, good, and then turn. Good. I wonder if he remembers from last week. The turns on that side of the wall there, the building. Good. Keep your arm relaxed. There you go. Good. So if he gives you tension, keep your arm relaxed and just keep your movement. Okay.
Heel.
Good pivot. Tap forward. Tap. There you go. Tap forward. Good.
There we go.
Good.
Just try.
Tap forward. Tap. 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 Good. What's the number currently?
26.
Okay. Good turn. Better. Tap forward. There you go.
This part of the school.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, keep forward. Tap. Good. Tap. Tap. Good. Try crossover here. Better. Tap forward. Tap. Good. Good pivot. I'm gonna have you try to go a little further along and do another crossover, okay?
Okay.
Tap, 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 tap. Keep moving. Yep. Now just cross over. That's okay. Tap, tap, tap. There you go. And then, yep. And slow turn to a crossover here. Yeah, and then slow to stop. Good. So when he goes into that resistance mode, it's instinct for us to want to counter with pulling, and it's actually best that you just continue what you're doing and tap. And so on the ones you did over here, he was much better, but he would delay a bit, right? Because he'd be like this of you, but then when you started tapping him, he started coming in more quickly. So you're teaching him how to recover. Okay, so once you cut into him, his instinct is to back off, but then you're countering the backing off with tapping, telling him come in closer. So the quicker you come in with that, you're still gonna start to see him tuck away, but the moment you complete the turn, he's gonna run to your side, okay? I think it's these kennels, okay? So then the way I would approach this is as I'm coming here, left, as soon as he puts the brakes on, I would actually stop moving and start tapping and bumping the number until he pops forward, and then I would complete the turn, okay? Because if you keep walking into it, he's gonna keep with this the entire time, and he has to make the movement of, or the decision of, okay, now I'm gonna move forward. Otherwise, if you're doing it physically, mentally, he's never gonna get over that hump, okay? So we'll ignore it for today, because if he's doing great outside and stuff, not the biggest deal, and I want to cover the recall. But just so you have an idea, like, so a client of mine, when she was walking with her dog, she saw a statue, and the dog freaked out at the statue and didn't want to walk like that. So I told her, go back to the park, and when you walk towards the statue, when the dog puts brakes on, You just hold and start tapping and bumping, and eventually your dog's gonna pop forward, and then you walk. And I don't care if they get out of line. I just need them to move forward. Okay? Like, you have to pick battles. So I'm not gonna care about the tight heel. I'm just gonna care that you walk past this thing you don't like. Okay? And then once we do that a few times, then I can start being more strict. Okay, now you have to stay at my side.
Makes sense.
Okay? Let's go and swap handlers.
Are we keeping it at this number, or are we lowering it?
You're at 26?
Yes.
You can keep it there.
Okay.
Heel.
Heel.
All right, keep forward. Yep. Tap. Good. 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 Try one more pivot. Pull to your left, tap.
Heel.
Yep, there you go. Try another pivot. There you go. You're leading it with your right foot the other time. Yep. Good, just power through. There you go. Good. Tap. There you go. Good. And slow to a stop. Good. So your movements for the most part were correct, but on a few of the heels, you were leading with your right foot, and you want to lead with that left foot. And then in the beginning, when you're doing your pivots, you're kind of doing, how are you doing? You're like doing like this, yeah. And then it's the left. So it was like half and half.
Okay.
So right pivots, you lead with your left turn. Left turns, you lead with your right leg. I'm sorry, right turns, you lead with your left leg. Left turn, you lead with your right leg. So you're leading with the leg opposite to the turn, okay? And when you start to heel, it's just the leg closest, which is your left. So like the dogs that learn to walk on the right, they walk instead with the right leg first, okay? Otherwise, everything's correct. Questions about any of that stuff? So, do you guys happen to have a long leash?
We have one. I have no idea where it is.
Okay. So the length that I recommend is 30 feet. I think that's like the perfect length. 20 tends to be too short, and anything longer than 30 tends to be too long. So, was it 20? So, if you go to Amazon, they're like $8-12, nothing fancy, because you're only going to be using it for a period of time. This one's untangled, yep. Okay. So here, we're going to clip Siegfried to this one. And then okay, I'm going to use, so this is going to be a 2-person exercise. We'll use this one. I'm going to have you clip this one to him as well on the same ring, yeah. And who's going to do the first batch of recalls? Okay. So, which hand do you hold the remote in?
Usually my right.
Your right? For you, same thing? Yeah. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to have the end of the long leash. You're going to take the handle and it's going to go over your thumb like this. Okay? And then you're going to have the remote here, so you can press the buttons.
Okay.
Okay? And then these 3 fingers are going to be free. The leash is going to be over your left hand like this. Okay? So when you're when Siegfried's coming towards you, I'm going to be telling you to back up, which means to walk backwards. And as you're walking backwards, I know he makes the weirdest sounds. He, that's Otis. So you'll be moving backwards, and then with your 3 fingers, you're gonna grab your leash, just throw it on the ground, like this, okay?
Okay.
So
Like that.
as you're backing up, correct. Yeah, so this is very coordination heavy, okay? So don't worry about getting it all at once, but once you start practicing it, you're gonna start to be able to do things, all together. So this over your thumb, this here leaves these 3 fingers free, leash over my hand, so when I back up, I can throw it down with these fingers like this, okay? So don't worry about trying to reel it in, because that'll slow you down. Just throw it on the ground, okay? The next thing you want to do is whenever you're done reeling in the leash, you're going to take your hand like this, you're going to go like this, and then you're going to go like this. Okay, you're going to clasp around the leash, okay? So the only part that's exposed is going to be over your finger like that. The reason why we do this is when you practice this, you want to practice outside. There's going to be distractions and stuff. And let's say you call Siegfried, and he's coming towards you, and then for whatever reason, he decides to take off, okay? If you hold your leash like this, you're gonna get rope burn, okay? I've had it happen to clients, it sucks. So here, as long as you're not running towards anything dangerous, you can let this go, because he's secure here, okay? He's not gonna pop that out of your hand, okay? So when we do this, it's the same concept. It's gonna lock your leash, and you don't have to hold tight. You just have to hold firm, okay? So if he takes off, I'm not worried about it ripping through my hand, because it's locked. He might jerk your hand a bit, but you should be fine, okay? But if for whatever reason it is ripping through your fingers, let that go, because he's secure here, okay? So it's like a secondary or fail-safe, if you will.
Okay.
The last thing is if we pretend here that I'm at, let's say, 30 feet of Siegfried, like this. In the beginning, we're not going to use the word come. We want to teach him with the e-collar that it means to return to you, okay?
Okay.
Is you would put a little bit of pressure on his collar, like so, and we're going to be tapping. And the moment we see Siegfried start to move towards you, you're going to back up and then do this whole routine and then lock your leash when you're ready, okay? So don't worry about reeling in all the leash. You're just reeling in what you can.
Okay.
Because let's say you're practicing outside, he's coming towards you, and you leave the leash like this, he's gonna have 30 feet of leash to go that way. Okay, so we shorten it just to make it a bit easier for you and him to correct. Okay, questions?
No, I'm gonna have to do this.
Yeah, go ahead and
practice
do a
for
little
second.
quick warm up there.
What's this leash for?
Yeah.
So here, the reason for the second leash is one, at some point, Siegfried might get savvy to the exercise and start to prematurely run to the other person. So that allows you to keep him with you. Also, you might start to see him not want to leave the person, right? Because he's thinking, oh, you're just gonna call me again, right? So then we have a leash to grab so we can force the separation, okay?
So when he goes to her, I just walk with him?
You're gonna drop leash. Yeah, yeah, so I'm gonna coach you through it. When you start to hear me say the word tap, that's when you can let the red leash go. And then I'll coach you, I'll say back up, tap or whatever. You can drop your number down to 18 because we're teaching something new. Whenever we teach something new, we always go down low. Okay?
And then I have a quick question, I'm sorry.
Yep.
So when I'm doing this, when I'm reeling it in, and I'm tapping at the same time?
Nope.
No.
No.
Okay.
No. So what's going to happen is if I'm Siegfried, you're tapping, right?
Yeah.
And the moment he turns and makes an active step towards you, you stop. Okay? And then that's when you would be moving
And then
backwards.
that's when I would be reeling.
Correct, right? So the moment, so it's pressure on when we need him to do something. So the moment he gives us that turn and the return,
Okay.
pressure off because you're saying, yes, that's what I wanted, okay? Let's say he's coming to you, but then he deviates and starts going over to the fence. You would start tapping, turn to face Siegfried, start moving backwards until he comes towards you again, then stop once he's moving to you, okay? And I'll coach you through it.
Okay.
So I'll have you go towards the white wall, and then you'll come over this way with Siegfried to give some distance here. Okay, that's about good. And then go ahead and start to pull up your, reel in some leash here. Okay, and you're gonna start to feel tension. Go ahead and reel in a little bit more. About right there is like a little bit of tension, and tap, 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 tap. Now move backwards. Tap, tap, Yep, now backwards and reel in your leash. Good, hold right there. See what he does. Yep, wait a moment. Now here, tap, 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 praise. Praise him. Good. Now you're gonna say the word break. Good, we're gonna repeat that 4 more times, and let's go to 22.
22?
Yep. Good.
Alright, so you want me to go this way?
No, we're gonna keep it the same way. So it's, yeah, like that. You're good. Good. Reel in some leash. There you go. Start to pull a little bit and tap, tap, tap. Now backwards. 1, 2, 3. Hold right there. Praise. Good boy.
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy.
Good. And break 3 more. Tap. 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 Now backwards. 1, 2, 3. Hold right there. Praise.
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy, Siegfried.
Good. And break.
Break.
Let's try, let's go to 25. Good. And tap, tap. Good, right there. Now back. 1, 2, 3. Hold right there. Good. Praise, praise.
Good boy, Siegfried. Good boy.
Good, one more.
Right.
Yeah, that's why we do the second leash. Good. Wait a moment. Now hold, hold. Yeah, so now you see how he's getting kind of antsy? So now he's assuming, right? So here with the second leash, if you, then this exercise you wouldn't do regularly. We're just doing this for the sake of the exercise. You would hold. You would use your environment. Go ahead and bring him back. And you want to hold the leash until she starts the tapping.
Let me know when you start.
Tap, tap. Now back. 1, 2, 3. Good, hold right there. Back. There you go, now praise.
Good boy. Good boy.
Good. And break.
Break.
So we're going to repeat this 5 more times, but what we're going to do now is instead of the pull with the tap, you're going to tap first 2 to 3 times. If Siegfried starts coming towards you, just continue with the backing up and the reeling in the leash.
Okay.
Otherwise, if he doesn't respond, keep tapping and then pull.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to tap first 2 to 3 times. If no response, keep tapping, then pull.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it. want to be at 25?
You can bring it down to like 23. And then when you're gonna start the tapping, let him know so he knows when to let go of the leash, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, wait a moment. Yeah, wait a moment, hold. Wait a moment. Good.
Okay, I'm gonna start tapping.
Okay.
Now backwards. 1, 2, 3. Good. Praise.
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy, Bobby.
Good. Break.
Break.
Good. 4 more.
All right, I'm gonna start tapping.
And back. 1, 2, 3. Yep, right there. That's good. Back. Tap. Now here, move backwards. Tap. Good. Wait right there. Backwards. Tap. Backwards. Tap. Reel in some leash. Backwards. Tap. Yep. Tap. 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 Good. Hold. Tap. 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 Pull on your leash. Yep. Back. Tap. Tap. Back. Back. Aerial. Yep. Pull. It's okay. Tap. Hold right there. Tap. Pull. Tap. Pull. Right there. Wait a moment. Now lightly pull up on your leash. Tap. Pull towards you. Tap. Tap. Good. Now up. Tap. It's okay. It's okay. Now praise. Good. Good. We're going to try it 2 more times. Break. Siegfried.
Do you think that that was because of the floor? Or because you just didn't want to?
It's something spooking him there. I'm not sure if it's the wall or something. Because if he didn't want to, it would look. He's definitely spooked of something, and I'll talk about that at the end. Okay.
Alright, I'm gonna tap.
Now backwards. 1, 2, 3. Good. Hold right there. Now backwards tap. Reel in your leash. Tap. 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 Good. Hold right there. Better. Praise.
Good boy. Good boy. Did you say no?
Okay, break.
Good. 1 more. Okay. Yep. Good.
Start tapping.
Yep. Now backwards. 1, 2, 3. Good. Hold right there. Good. Praise.
Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, good boy.
Good. Let's go and swap handlers. And you're going to just pick up with a couple of taps and then go into the pulling, okay?
You said give it a couple taps and then pull.
Yeah. So picking up where she left off, and you can let her know when you're going to start, okay?
All right.
Yep. Now backwards. 1, 2, 3. Good, praise. Good, we're gonna do that 4 more times. Yeah, hold, wait, let them settle first. Good. Now back. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Back, tap, 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 yep, tap, 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 yep, tap, yep, good. Hold right there. Now here, just pull and tap, 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 tap. There you go. Tap. And then relax. Wait a moment. Relax. Pull in a little more towards you. Tap. Tap. Now praise. Good. Good. Break. Good. 3 more. No contact? All right, go ahead and bump it a little bit. Yeah, I'm not seeing any twitch. There it is. Tap, 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 and backwards. 1, 2, 3. Good. Hold right there. And praise. Good. 2 more.
Break.
Good. Now backwards. 1, 2, 3. Good. Good. And last one, break. Oh, hold. Going to get him? I don't think he had started yet.
We can't be friends right now. I know.
Yeah, wait a moment. Yeah, just hold, relax. Good, hold. All right, wait a moment. Good. Yep, now backwards. Good. There we go. Good. Backwards. Tap. 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 Yep, keep reeling. Yep, tap. There you go. Hold right there. Try reeling them in a little bit. Good. Hold. Tap. Yep, good. Praise.
Go boy.
Good.
Boy. Got a little putt.
Good. So now, we'll bring Siegfried over. We're gonna give him a moment to rest to kind of just process that stuff, okay?
Okay.
Good. So here, we're gonna add in the word come in the next batch that we're gonna do. But right now, we're just teaching Siegfried that this also means to return, okay? So in the beginning, we use some leash tension to guide him, and then the pressure to essentially motivate him to start doing some things. The movement back is important because it gives Siegfried something to attach to. Okay, so typically when people call their dogs outside, like they'll complain like, oh, my dog doesn't come, and they're stationary. So when they call their dog will look at them, they'll go like, okay, nothing's happening, and they go back to playing or whatever. But when we're moving or moving away from them, that tends to draw them, okay? So this is something that you'll always do. So like my dog's been off leash trained for like 8-9 years, and you'll still see me move backwards whenever I call them, okay? The reason for this is like, let's say Siegfried's off leash, he's out of earshot or there's a lot of noise going on, he can't hear you, is when he feels that remote, it's gonna communicate to him like, hey, you need to do something, right? So when he's turning around trying to find you and he sees you moving backwards like this, it's letting him know you need to return, okay? So it's like the visual cue. You're always gonna be facing Siegfried, but moving away from him, okay? So if he's coming towards you and he goes over there, you would turn like this and start tapping and move this way. Let's say he bypasses you and keeps going, you turn like this, start tapping and move this way, okay? So always facing Siegfried, but always moving away from him, okay? When we train at Oz Park, I've seen so many people call their dog and walk away thinking their dog is coming, because the dog would start, and then they'd go back to playing or like go start chasing a squirrel. So I want to keep my eyes on my dog until I know they're all the way here, okay? Very strict. I want Siegfried within your immediate space like that, within a 2 to 3 foot bubble, okay? I don't care where he lands, left, right, front, back, between your legs. I just want him in that immediate space, okay? So if he's playing or he's chasing something and you call him back, when we make it this strict, they're less likely to run off prematurely, because people will typically struggle with that. I call my dog, but when my dog comes back, they run off again. So keep making him come in all the way helps fix that problem. Also, what happens if Siegfried lands there and I go, good boy, and I accept this, over time, it becomes where he'll like slow down, like he's gonna stop there, but then he's gonna take off again. Okay, so that's why you want him to move into your immediate space. For whatever reason, we saw him hesitating, moving towards that direction, because that's definitely something we're gonna work on. So when we get a flighty dog like this, okay, let's say you're at the park and there's a tennis court behind you, and you notice when you call Siegfried towards you with the tennis court behind you, he gets spooked like that. You want to use that to your advantage. Okay, because now he's becoming hesitant. Flight is kind of kicking in, and he's like, I don't know. He's like, that behind you looks kind of scary, and you want to make him return all the way. If you have to use leash pressure and tap to help give him more direction, that's fine. Because for whatever reason in his brain, he's perceiving threat, and it's against instinct to move into threat. Okay, like if there's a burning building, like you wouldn't run into it unless there was incentive for you, right? Same thing for the dog. He's like, I don't know, I don't like what's behind you, so I don't want to go there. But you can override him using pressure. So when you practice for him, if you ever notice anything like that, use it to your advantage, okay? Because if you ignore it and something happens that makes him go into flight mode, it's less likely you're going to be able to override that. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, and this is something I talk about with all my dog owners, but definitely, this is one of those cases where I go, for sure, you want to do this stuff, because when he goes into flight mode, he's not being disobedient. He's just like, screw you, man. Like, there's danger going on. Yeah. Every dog for themselves, right? And you're trying to essentially make him more scared of running from you than he is from whatever it is that spooked him in the first place, okay? So that gives you nice controlled context to work with. So we're gonna ignore that for today, but that's definitely one of the things that we're filing away. to work on so you have a concept of what it looks like. But it's the same thing, you know, if I run out of space here, I would just, you can go down so it's a more direct tension, and then tapping and bumping that power until eventually he goes, fine, boom, and he comes in, disappears, praise, 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 praise. And what I'd like to see is when you call him into that kind of scenario, you might see the hesitation, but he's gonna kick right into returning to you, okay? And that's gonna make it as reliable as possible, okay? Questions about any of this so far?
You mentioned that how often should we, or not often should we be doing this exercise?
So it's for the recall?
Yeah.
Yeah. So ideally as much as you can, but you can't drill it out a ton, okay? So what we're doing right now is not realistic. Siegfried is not gonna be sitting there waiting for you to call him, or no one's gonna be holding him for you. He's gonna be doing his doggy thing, okay? Does he have any prey drive by chance? Prey drive, like squirrels, rabbits?
He's interested in them, but he doesn't like lose all reason.
Does he, when you release him, is he like fun and like having a good time, or is he just kind of like?
I mean, he really only goes after wood chips and stuff. That's his like what he loses it for. Like when
Wood
he-
chips.
Yeah, like not animals or anything, but like
Sure.
when he's running around the yard,
Uh-huh.
he like tries to like run away from us, grab the wood chips, and then like keep away. Like
Sure.
he just like he's obsessed with wood chips.
Yeah. what
Interesting.
animal, what
Yeah.
chips.
He doesn't eat them. He just.
He tries to eat
He
them.
tries to eat them.
Okay.
For sure.
Stop him.
Yeah. So you can use that to correct him for me in the wood
He's
chips.
also a digger.
A
We
digger.
just haven't been doing anything with it yet because we.
Right, we hadn't done the recall yet, right? So if you're in an enclosed environment, let's say your yard or something, you can use the tool to correct him because I'm not worried about him running away.
From this point moving forward.
Correct. So like, because now when you practice with him for the recall, he's gonna have the long leash on, so he's secure to you, okay? So if you did correct him and he tries to run off, you can correct that as well. If you're in an enclosed area, like a yard or a park or a dog park or whatever, you can also correct them even without the leash because we're not worried about is he gonna run away.
Right.
That's the biggest concern is if I correct the dog off leash too early and they don't have a concept of returning, it'll send them away,
Yeah.
okay? So when you practice the recall, you wanna practice it in as realistic of a context as possible. So like what I like to do is, let's say you on your walk, maybe there's a park on the way, you make that part of the walk now, okay? You walk there, you stop, pop him on the long leash, Siegfried break, hold on to the end of the handle, and just let him be a dog. Let's say you do that for 20 minutes every day. You don't want to call him 10 times every single time you go, because he's going to pick up on that pattern. What you would do is maybe the first day you go and give Siegfried 20 minutes of just running around and being a dog. And I call him once at the very end. Then we go into a heel, then we walk home. Then the next time I'll call him 5 times, and then 2 times, then 2 times, and then 1 time. You're going to randomize the frequency of how many times you call him per training session so he doesn't get paranoid, okay? Because if you call him 10, 20 times every single time you go there, he's going to go, oh, there's no point in, you know, getting excited because you're just going to call me a bunch of times,
Yeah.
okay? So recall takes the longest. Recall is the command that takes people the longest to teach because it requires you, 1, to go somewhere, but then 2, if you drill it out too much and then his drive dips, or his drive to explore dips, then you have to counter that and make them comfortable again, and then come back and practice the recall again, right? So what I suggest is if you start to see him dip, which looks kind of like what we saw today, where he doesn't want to leave you or he's prematurely running to either one of you, I just forget about it, and then just like let him relax for the rest of the session, okay? And I might just do a couple of visits to the park with no recalls, and instead of calling him, I'll just drag him in with the long leash, because you want to leave him incentivized of wanting to explore. And then we leave, and once I feel like he's comfortable, we do a recall again, okay? That's why I was asking if he has prey drive, because if he has prey drive, it makes it super easy. Because if there was a squirrel with a tree with a squirrel in it, you know, you tell him break, let him be a dog and bark at the tree and all that stuff, and then you can call him away from it. Because there's typically 3 points where we want to practice recall. 1 would be as he's in pursuit of something. 2 would be as he's getting to it. And then 3 would be as he's been doing it for a while. Okay, so if like, let's say, you know, if he's running along a fence barking at geese behind the fence or something for a couple of minutes, calling them in the middle of that, right? So there are different points to it. So whenever you work with him, just trying to find little opportunities. Like if something catches his attention and he starts to like chase after it, you can call him mid-chase, okay? Because typically when people use the recall, Dog is chasing something, running towards something they shouldn't, or running away. But it's almost always moving away from the owner. Okay, so I try to practice that as much as possible because that's going to be realistic. Questions? So what we're going to do now is we're going to start adding in the word of heal. Not heal, of come. So it's going to be Siegfried come, then the tapping, and then the moving back, okay, to get him to move towards you. If you call Siegfried and he starts moving towards you, you're still going to tap at least once. Okay? Question?
I do have a question. So in place of come, we originally learned touch when we have our hands like this. We've tried to use come before. I mean, obviously this will work better, but also in his mind, like when we say Siegfried touch, like at home, like only usually when we're like inside at home, will come. So we should stop.
So touch is specific, right? Because touch is nose to the hand, but it was working as a recall because he'd obviously have to walk over to make the contact. Is here you wouldn't need it unless you're wanting Siegfried to land somewhere specific. So like let's say you wanted him to land on your left side, then you would always feed or have something here for him on the left side, and he would start favoring it. Otherwise, in this context, it wouldn't be needed. But you can use come, or some people use here as a recall as well. So, okay. Cool. Anything else? All right. So let's go and get situated again. Good. You're gonna wait a moment. Wait, hold them. Yep, good.
Alright, got it. Come.
And then backwards. 1, 2, 3. Hold right there. Good. Praise. Good.
Great.
We're trying that 2 more times.
Come.
Good. Back. Good.
You said just press it once?
Yeah. If he's coming to you, you just need to press it once. Yep. Now, if he were delaying and not responding right away, you would keep tapping until he would come to you. Good. Let's try one more. Yeah, this is like the messiest command there is. Shh.
Come.
Good. And back. 1, 2, 3. Good. Good. Praise. Let's go and swap handlers. Right, good. And then back. 1, 2, 3. Good. Hold right there.
You got a little anticipatory right
Yeah, I was gonna say he's picking up on the leash strapping. So if you want to hold it till she calls him.
Okay.
Yep. 2 more. Break. Yep, and back. Good. 1, 2, 3. Good. Good. Praise. And one more. Did you start with Noki? Did Noki do training this morning?
Only with Angie, I didn't do training.
Okay. I think Enrique did heel in place with her, and we're using food. Yeah. And back. 3. Good. Hold right there. Good. All right. Gonna bring them back. So now, when you practice with him, you'll be using the word of come. Okay. Now, when you issue the word come, higher pitch higher pitches carry better. Siegfried, come, as opposed to deeper, come, especially if there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'll get used to using a more upbeat or up note type of cue for the command. So now, you can pick up a 30-foot leash, and recall takes people the longest to teach. Okay, so don't expect him to be amazing within a couple of tries. This is because your recall is only as good as the environment you practice in. That's why if he had prey drive, it makes things so much easier because it's just like, let's find squirrels and rabbits and like call them from that, right? Yeah. But if it's like his thing is just wood chips, well then, wood chips don't move, so there's nothing to chase there. Yeah. So, you can go, and then like the lakefront is a nice place to practice because there's a lot of distractions, there's people, and you can literally just walk with him, for I don't know how long, like a couple of miles, and it's all open space, and just doing a recall here and there. This is typically if dogs have like any aversion to the collar, tend to kind of come around because now they're getting to go out and like do stuff and running around and play, so then it becomes like a more of a positive association to it, as opposed to just discipline. Because in the beginning, this is all new for him, right? No one likes discipline. But once you start to expose him more and take him more places and do more things with him, it starts to balance things out, okay? This is the one command, if we're gonna use food for anything, you can use it here. Okay, and I use high value stuff, turkey, bologna, sausage, cheese, whatever. I don't use dog treats myself, I just use human stuff. Because if we're wanting the best level of training, then he's gonna wanna be paid well, so to speak, okay? Now, the drawback to that is if he learns, oh, you got cheese in your pocket, then the dog sometimes won't leave you, right? Because they're wanting what's in your pocket. So you can kind of play that by ear. And then you would wean it away. But in the beginning, it's nice incentive, like good job, food. So you're not using it to bring him to you. You're making him come to you, and then you're just feeding him at the end, okay? If he's too stressed, he's not gonna worry about the food. Don't worry about it, just keep practicing. You can also do what we call short distance recall, which is when you take him out to go potty, like let's say he's exploring or whatever, and then he finds some mulch, you let him go towards it, and you kind of sneak to the end of your leash. You could be about 10 feet away or so, and then still in your hand, Siegfried come, tap, tap, and move backwards. And that allows you to practice the recalls more frequently, because now you're not always having to go to the park, but 30 feet or whatever distance away is more realistic. So you're kind of doing both. You're doing more frequent during the walks, but then you're also doing more realistic when you go to the park and stuff. Okay? Questions about any of this?
Should we still keep it like an exercise zone? Like, let's say we want to do like off-leash recall and we're like sitting outside. In this nice weather, and we just want to sit outside for 15 minutes and he's off-leash, but we know this is going to the mulch. Like, if we're out there, since we're just relaxing and it's not like typical training, it's just kind of like just a random environment and time. Well, not environment, but random time. Like, can we use it then, or should we wait until we're like in a?
You can use it anytime you have that leash on. Okay, so like let's say you stop for a break and you let him be free off the leash, right? And you call him and it's too early. He's gonna think like, well, do I have to, right? So when he has a long leash on, even if he tries to take off, I can step on it or grab it and make him return. And that's the thing. So technically, yes, because like I've had clients who've put the dog in the yard and they'll call their dog and the dog won't come back and they use the e-collar. The issue is that most of the time the dog goes, make me, right? Because they don't see the leash anymore. And then it requires the owner to have to go up really high before the dog goes, okay, I'm coming. And then they go, right? So technically, yes, but it's usually not very pretty because you have to really go up there to make the dog return. That's why enclosed area is very important. But if he's exploring, he's got that leash on, absolutely. You know, so it's not so much.
If we're gonna sit outside, we should just have the leash on him as he's doing his thing, and we're just like hanging out. And if we notice something, then we can try and
Correct.
use the leash.
Correct. Yeah. Once you've got a few weeks of this down, then we're more open to like stuff like that without the leash,
Right.
because of conditioning, especially because he's a flighty kind of guy. Is he's going to be more likely to move away from the collar if given the opportunity. Okay. Anything else? Right. Well, he's looking good. He's looking much better. He's looking more relaxed. And then also, if you can, Home Depot, PetSmart, Petco, places that you can take them, I would start exposing them. Okay.
Thanks again.
You're welcome.